One of the things I noticed on the book in the book is that the wine group never unionized. Do you think that that unions get in the way of the win-win solutions that companies are able to provide for their employees, or that employers are able to have in their company?
Unions can get in the way as much as companies of a win-win solution, right? So selfishness is not owned by either side. That's something that both sides can do. I fundamentally believe in a right of unionization. I think this is organization. I mean, this is a basic human right. Okay. Um, I think that unions need to be careful to
Hmm.
really make sure that there is a win-win and that they also have this co-opetition in mind. Unions need to approach the company just like a company should approach other companies with co-opetition. Yes, you can go in and you can make the demands and everything, and that's definitely a perfectly good right. But find a win-win solution on both sides. I like this book called Getting to Yes by this famous Harvard author about negotiations. And I think that's something that both sides in a like right now we have this issue with the railway. Both sides could learn from that to actually figure out a way to find a solution with each other that to go forward. What happened in Art's case at the wine group is is twofold. So the wine group never had its own unionization, but of course unions in California in the wine industry are just taking care of the whole wine industry. So you're not singled out. I mean, often they were singled out and there was a union there, but there's also an overall pool of people you hire from the unions. So Art was, of course, a part of. He was subject to that in terms of the state union for this, but Art's factories themselves, or not factories, Art's wine Art's vineyards themselves were never unionized as Art's vineyards, or as his winemaker or so, because he basically, whenever there was an issue, he would go out and to the field and talk with the people on the field and in the vineyard and say, "Look, I want to find a way to make you happy here." And he would literally have an open door policy that any one
Hmm.
of them could just walk into his office and say, "Hey, Art, this here is a problem." And but he wouldn't wait for them to come into the office. It's too intimidating. He would go out and actually be in the vineyard. Have He told me about he would have Christmas parties with them and quinceañeras, for their kids and stuff like that. And he would show up and say, "Look, if there
Oh
is a
man,
problem, you come to me."
that's cool.
And with that kind of sincerity, see, this right way signals that the person approaching you, if you're a laborer, a migrant laborer, a seasonal laborer, when the CEO comes and does this, this person is looking for a win-win, and not and is not looking for conflict. Is not showing
Hmm.
up with a conflict view
Yeah,
of the world, but a complementary view of the world. And so Art himself,
yeah.
as their own workforce, was never unionized.
Because he showed them in person with his action that I'm we're you don't need to form a union, because we're gonna be
Yeah.
here, like I'm gonna be here with you
You know,
discussing this stuff.
it, this view goes back to this view that you're describing there is the win-win also goes back to this idea. In the book, I have this Italian sentence, "Ti voglio bene." I want your good. Love in the business place. People say it's squishy and everything. I don't think so. I
Yeah,
think the proper definition of love is to wanting the good of the
yeah,
other.
exactly.
And so that is a win-win situation. That is, I want the good for you also in my self-interest because I want to coexist with you. You know
Right.
what I mean? And
Hmm.
so in that sense, ti voglio bene, I want your good, is a good thing to do in self-interest because peace is good for me, peace is good for you. Us
Yeah,
doing trade and work with each other is good for both of us. Self-interest got a bad rap, and I
yeah.
think it needs a PR agency to to promote it a bit because it's a good thing.